You know, it took us a while to decide whether I was going to run for President of the United States. And a lot of people said he'll never get in the race. And then on July 21st, with my wife, my great wife Karen, and my daughters Emma and Reese, we announced in Columbus, Ohio, that I would run for President of the United States. And then they said he couldn't raise the money. The doubters said he's just not going to be able to do it. And then, we got a lot of money out of a lot of piggy banks because we never had the billionaires really with us. And we moved forward. And then they said he'll never, ever make it to New Hampshire. It just simply won't happen. And then guess what? We went to New Hampshire. And yes, we started at town hall meetings with as few as 6 people in a room. But I loved those 6 people because they were there and they were listening. And I'm not sure we got all of them, but we got a couple of them. And then the week before the New Hampshire primary, I had a reporter say, "Are you going to drop out before New Hampshire?" And I looked at that reporter. I said, "That is the single dumbest question I've ever had in my lifetime." And then they said, "No chance in New Hampshire. He's got no money. There have been millions and millions of dollars of negative ads spent against him." But you know what happened? The people showed up. The people showed up in New Hampshire, and the people showed up from around the country, and of course from my beautiful Buckeye State. And while we may not have won, we did beat Donald Trump and Dixville Notch with 60% of the vote. Just don't tell anybody it was 3-2. It's still 60%. But we came roaring out of New Hampshire, and they said that in a week or so, he can't do very well in South Carolina. He's just going to call it in. And tonight, one more time, we have defied and overcome expectations in the state of South Carolina in about 6 or 7 days. And then for all the people watching, you fasten your seatbelts, please. We came very late last night to Vermont. We had done everything we could possibly do in 6 or 7 days, spending literally about $500,000 to the multiple millions of dollars spent by everybody else, and a big chunk of it to hammer me. But as my friend Arnold Schwarzenegger said, he said, "John, love the beatings," okay? And I have. And now, folks, this morning in Vermont, Burlington, Vermont, I saw Richard Dreyfuss over at the Colbert Show, and I couldn't resist but say to him, "We need a bigger boat." And we have needed bigger venues. And that's exactly what we've been able to get with 600-700 people in Vermont on a few days' notice. And then in Worcester today, jam-packed crowd. It was just absolutely fantastic. And I do want to compliment Jeb Bush and the Bush family for the many years of great work and service to our country. Jeb is a great guy. His brother, his family, his mother, his father, they're the best. Give them a great round of applause for what they've done. And then finally, it started as a 16-person race. And now, folks, it's down to the final 4. And we are going to travel all across this country. Vermont and Massachusetts and down in Virginia and in Mississippi and in Louisiana and in Tennessee and in Georgia. And then guess what? We're going to head to the Midwest up in Illinois, and one of my favorite states of all, Michigan, and then Ohio and Pennsylvania, and all the way to Cleveland. And that's where we're going to go, all the way to the nomination in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm going to take you with me. But I need all of you. It's the only way we're going to get there is if I have all of you. And here's the situation. Yes, within 100 days we can begin to rebuild the economy. We can begin to create economic opportunity for everybody. And at the same time, as we create this economic opportunity, we're not going to leave anybody behind. I don't care who they are, the mentally ill, the drug addicted, the working poor, the developmentally disabled. We're going to raise all of them. And we're going to march with the people who have come out from all over the country, and we're going to turn power back, power, money, and influence back to where we live. And then we're going to ask everyone to assert themselves in the schoolhouse, fighting the curse of drugs, to be able to get ourselves in a position of where we can reunite one another again in our communities and neighborhoods, and where we recognize that the God-given purpose that has been planted in all of our hearts and souls can be carried out, whether we're teachers or nurses or entrepreneurs or just somebody that walks next door to visit the widow who had been married for 50 years and people have stopped paying attention to. Yeah, you know, where I come from, America was never built great because of who was at the top. America's been built great because who is at the foundation, in the families, in the neighborhoods, in the communities. And together, we'll renew the spirit of the United States of America. And people will look forward to the rest of this century for their children and their grandchildren. Thank you all very much, and God bless. Thank you.